North Carolina Senate rolled out their tax proposal this week or last week, depending on when you're watching this. They are proposing to decrease the individual income tax rates from 5.25% to 4.99%. They're also proposing to, over a longer period of time, actually phase out the corporate tax rate. I believe it's at 2% now, and they're talking about phasing it out to zero. Increasing standard deductions, so your normal, lower the rates, increase the standard deductions. They're also proposing a somewhat unique way of looking at the PPP loan deductions. I think we've talked about this in the past where folks that got a PPP loan that was then forgiven, there's already a provision that loan forgiveness won't be taxed as income, but without any changes in North Carolina, you would not be allowed to deduct the expenses that you paid with that loan forgiveness. And so a lot of the businesses have been asking for that. IRS treats that, will allow those deductions, and so businesses have been asking for some help there. What the Senate is proposing is actually still not allowing those deductions, but in turn giving a grant to every one of the PPP loan recipients up to I think it's $18,000 or so dollars to help cover the costs of not being able to deduct those expenses. So it's a bit complicated, but they explain it that they need to do it this way so that they can use the federal dollars to offset that revenue loss for North Carolina, and so it works out. But it also, by doing it that way, they also bring in not just PPP, but any of the other government pandemic response loan forgiveness type programs. There are 3 or 4 different ones, some for movie theaters, some for restaurants, and so those types of programs would be eligible for this as well. So the House passed a bill this previous week related to broadband. And I think we may have talked about the proposal previously, but it's actually passed the House now. It would take the American Rescue Plan COVID relief dollars and spend $750 million of those on broadband deployment in North Carolina. It would break it up into 2 pots, basically. Roughly half would go into the existing great grant program that they've had for a while that's worked well. Obviously, this is a lot more money going into that program to help build out broadband in unserved areas. Another pot of the money will be used on a county by county basis. So essentially it sets up a program where counties can decide which areas of their county are donut holes or are underserved. And so that it makes sure that way that some of this broadband money is going to go into all 100 counties of the state. Again, that's passed the House and will likely be part of a budget discussion overall. So there was a proposal in the Senate last week related to the federal unemployment payments. So this is the additional $300 a week that folks on unemployment are getting from the federal government. There's a lot of complaints from businesses that in addition to the state unemployment is keeping a lot of people from looking for jobs. The governor responded to that partially by reinstating the job search requirement. So now we're back to where if you're on unemployment, you have to make at least 3 job searches per week. What the Senate proposed was actually to use the same money that's paying the $300 a week, but actually use it for a bonus for somebody that got off of unemployment and worked a job. So they go work a job after a certain time period, they're eligible for up to, depending on when they do it, but up to a $1,500 bonus. So it sort of takes the money they would have been making on unemployment, but pays it out if they actually go out and get a job. It's got a lot of complications to actually become law or get the federal government to go along with it, but it's an idea, and it brings to light the issue of we've got very low unemployment. The percentages are very low. There's a lot of businesses, especially small businesses, looking for help and they feel like that this additional federal money is keeping people from going out and looking for these jobs. So it's a unique way to try to, at least it started the discussion to see if there's a solution for the issue.